Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bob Pompeani. We're live, as we always are, right here in the Fan Cave. KDKA Plus, and most nights it's 93.7 The Fan. If you're driving around, give us a call at 412-575-2600. We have a lot to talk about. Hit me up on X at KDPomp. Beginning with the Pirates, who came off a very difficult weekend. It started positively. They had a 6-0 lead. After 4 innings of Friday night's game, you thought, okay, that's pretty good against the Philadelphia team that had surged of late. They had won 5 straight series. Now this will be 6. But it looked like they were going to win that game until the bullpen had its problems. And that 6-0 lead got to be 8-3. And the next thing you know, it's tied. They go to extra innings. And, I mean, the whole bullpen fell apart. That was Gregory Soto. That was Dennis Santana, who gave up yet another run today on a home run. So they got some problems to figure out. Bullpen is number one among them. But then the other thing you have to look at is starting pitcher specific to Bubba Chandler. Bubba Chandler has not been good. We expected him coming into the season to be 1-2 right behind Paul Skeens, and instead it's turned out to be more Braxton Ashcraft. Keller's been okay. Every now and then has, like he did this past week, a bad outing where he gave up 6 runs in 1 inning. But Chandler's been wildly inconsistent, especially, with putting men on base. When you do that in this league, you're going to pay the price for it. And now I wonder if it's a mental thing or just something he needs. He's got great stuff. Everyone knows that. You have to locate that stuff, too. You have to trust it where you locate it. If not, you fall behind people. You're going to walk them, or worse yet, they're going to hit you. And that's exactly what happened in that game we saw with him in that, 3 runs in the very first inning. And, man, that's tough to overcome when you do it. So they got to figure out what to do with him. I guess the choices are keep him in the regular rotation and just let him work it out. Send him to the bullpen. But if you do that, who becomes the starter? Jared Jones eventually will, but he's not here yet. He pitched 4 innings plus tonight, gave up 2 runs down on a rehab stint in Altoona. But, Indianapolis, wherever he is, 4 innings, 2 runs tonight for Jared Jones. He'll eventually be a starter. Someone's going to come out. A lot of people, just conventional wisdom, thought it'd be probably Cameron Majinski, who has more bullpen probably experience and could do a lot of different things in that bullpen. Who knows? Maybe likely even close one day, because you could argue right now the Pirates don't have a closer. They have a closer committee. Is that good enough to get the job done on a regular basis? Matson came in today, immediately gave up a 2-run double, which added 2 more to Skeen's line. So he goes 5 innings, 5 runs. His ERA jumped to 2.62. Just was not a good series. And the Phillies are hot. They were once 8-18. They're now 24-23. Same record as the Pirates. So I want to hear from you. How devastating was this weekend? Or is it just May and it's going to happen from time to time? And it's twice now happened in Pittsburgh where the Pirates have gotten swept by other teams. 4 by St. Louis and now 3 by Philadelphia. They have a day off tomorrow and they certainly can use it. Then they head to St. Louis. Then they have a trip to Toronto. And that's not going to be easy. The Blue Jays could hit too. So we'll see what happens in the next coming week. On top of that, the bad news that Ryan O'Hearn, who's been one of their more prolific bats, he's going to be out for 4 weeks with some sort of either hamstring or oblique problem, but he will not be around for the next 4 weeks. Also, Joey Bart continues to be more longer term than shorter term, and that means Henry Davis has got to start getting it together. I mean, his average is down to 146, I believe, now, and you just can't have a guy in a lineup hitting that. He's got to be better at it. So we have a lot to talk about the Pirates. We'll unwind and get into your phone calls at 412-575-2600. Also today, the PGA Championship. What a great finish for Aaron Rai. I'm sure most people out there looked at that leaderboard and said, well, who is this guy? He's been on the tour quite a bit. He just hasn't won a major. But today he put it all together. Coming into this week, he was plus 17,500 trying to win this thing if you were to bet on him. Not many people expected him to be in the top 10, let alone win. But boy, did he do something. He got better and better each and every round this weekend. He shot 70 round 1, 69, then 67 yesterday, even better today at 65. End up winning by 3 shots. And John Rahm finished tied for second with Alex Smalley. So those 2 guys had pretty good tournaments. But none of the guys you would have suspected were there in the end. And I think that's because Aronimink was just that good of a golf course. It was, a lot of people thought 15 under would be the winning score. Didn't come close to that whatsoever. Of course, the other news, of course, Aaron Rodgers back with the Steelers. He hasn't yet signed that deal, I don't think. And keep in mind, OTAs, which begin tomorrow, are not mandatory, so he may or may not show up tomorrow or this week. At some point, you do expect to see him. We do expect to hear from Chris Boswell, who got a new 4-year, $28 million extension. So there's a lot going on. Would like to talk to you about all those topics and more. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from BR Betting. How about this? Aaron Rai was plus 17,500 to win the PGA Championship. Those are long odds. And by those odds, his win is more unlikely than the Raiders winning the Super Bowl this year, Malik Willis winning the MVP, or the Cardinals winning the World Series, although the Cardinals are playing pretty well. But you get the point that he was not expected to be where he was today, but that's what sports is all about. And he came up with big shots at big times, and you can tell he deserved it today. -9 takes home $3.6 million. 412-575-2600, number to call. Let's get right to the phone lines. We have Chris in Scott Township joins us first. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good.
What a difference a year makes, right? So I wonder if the Yankees would make the trade for Rafael Flores, Edwin Perez, and Brian Sanchez for David Bednar. No. But also, I was really hoping we could get Eric Lauer off waivers from Toronto, and guess who picked them up? The Dodgers.
Well, the Dodgers have a tendency to do that. They pick up a lot of guys. You know, there were options out there. I was watching Giolito pitch tonight for San Diego. He did well. He kind of walked the bases loaded into a jam in the 6th inning, but he was available. There were a lot of guys, veteran guys, who were available out there for the Pirates. And I think over the course of this season, whether it's not good production or injury, they're going to need some more insulation in their starting staff. And they also need more quality in their bullpen. So even though you would expect these things to happen near the trade deadline, that's still 2 months away. And as I mentioned, O'Hearn is not going to be available for 4 weeks. Today they had Triolo out in right field. I think it might be time to bring up the password. You know, we've talked up a lot about him, Joe Stinson Garcia, and he has been ripping up down there. If you need a guy to play outfield and you have a 4-week lapse here, give him a try. Why not? I certainly would consider that at this point. We'll see what they do, because you can't have guys like, and all due respect to Triolo, who's a very good defensive player, a flexible guy. He just doesn't hit a lot. Neither does, you know, Henry Davis. Neither does guys in that lineup who shouldn't be in there on a regular basis. And when you put them in there, you know, like for example, today we saw the bottom 3 in that lineup go 0 for 9. Yesterday, the meat of the order, or at least 2 of their better bats, O'Neal Cruz and Marcell Ozuna, went 0 for 8 combined with 7 strikeouts. So they really need to get more help along the way. And Garcia's a guy I'd give a shot right now. 4 weeks without O'Hearn, he's going to play right field. Why not? Because they need that. They just got shut out in back-to-back games. Their offense, while it's been very good overall, there have been some lapses in there. And in order to make this pitching staff get better, you got to continue to score more runs. They did it for the first month and a half of the season. Lately, they've been very erratic with it. So given the injury to O'Hearn, I think Garcia would be a good call-up at this point. Back to the lines we go. Brian in Brentwood. Hello, Brian. How are you?
And Marcell Ozuna went 0 for 8.
Brian, don't listen to your television.
They really need to get more.
Oh, Brian, try to call back. Dave, hopefully you're not listening to your television. He's in Gibsonia, and now he's on the sports call. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Bob. The Pirates' recent play is really beginning to worry me. For years, the fans have been begging Bob Nutting to open his wallet and spend some money. And he's finally done that, and they're not doing any better. I'm worried that at the end of the year, he's going to have a fire sale and get rid of all this talent that we have.
Not with Paul Skeens still here. I don't expect that to happen. Yeah, they spent money. They should be spending money on a regular basis. They're still not in the top 20 payrolls of major league teams. They still have I think it's $105 million. A lot of teams spend more than that. So they need to continue to do that when it's appropriate. But I think even though Ben Cherington has been very good over the years putting together bullpen pieces, this year, while he was fixated on addressing the offense, which he did, this bullpen, I don't know what it is. It's certainly a lack of a regular closer, somebody could rely on. It's a committee right now, but is that good enough in the long run? We've heard this expression before. If you have 2 quarterbacks, then that means you really don't have 1 quarterback. Same is true with closing committees. You got to go mix and match and do that sort of thing. You want to rely on a guy, and I know there's only one Mason Miller, but if you have a lockdown guy, it makes a big difference in how you do your bullpen. And they've had some good ones in the past. This year, not so much, and it's struggling. And, getting to it early, and that's what I was hoping Chandler, Chandler yesterday needed to go longer into this game. And he only went 3 innings, I think it was. So that bullpen gets overworked. Again, they have a day off tomorrow. That should help them before they go into a tough place to play. St. Louis right now, they're playing well, and so is Toronto. All right, back to the lines. We have Steve in Rio Grande, Texas. You might be the first one we had from Rio Grande, Steve. How are you?
Good, doing good. Hey, Bob, my grandmother from Slovakia always would tell me desperate times call for desperate measures. Do you think the Pirates would even consider signing Trevor Bauer? Because we need some help somewhere. You mentioned about the 2 sweeps that we had against St. Louis and Philadelphia.
Right.
Both those first games we lost in the 9th inning, and that set the tone. That set the tone for the whole series. I mean, is he blackballed all the way across, or?
I think he is for this point. I mean, he's been out there for a long period of time. And I think if anyone wanted to take a chance on him, they could have done it by now. Desperate times call. It's not yet desperate here. I still like their starting rotation. That's not what I would be looking for at this point. Although if I could find a veteran who could help me, I would certainly add on. They got to figure out their bullpen. Maybe it's Majinski who ultimately goes in there when Jarrett Jones comes back. Maybe they stick with Bubba Chandler in the rotation and just say, work it out. We need you. If that's the case, or you could put Chandler in the bullpen for a short period of time and try to work out his issues there. But when Jarrett Jones comes back, then that opens up an opportunity for one of those guys to go to the bullpen. And my bet would be it's Majinski, who can serve a number of roles. And who knows, he may eventually turn into your closer. We brought that up last week as a possibility. Rick in Peters Township's up next. Hey, Rick, how are you?
Hey, Bob, how are you this evening?
We're good, thanks.
Hey, 2 questions. Why is Triola playing right field all the time instead of bringing up Garcia from the minors? Because he's definitely not an outfielder. And why don't they bring Dotel back up? Thank you for.
Yeah, Dotel is a guy. First time we saw him was pretty good. I think he went 4 scoreless innings. He looks like he has a pretty good velocity and location. As far as Triola playing right field, I know he can do a lot of different things, but that tells me you have a lack of outfield offense. You have Reynolds, you have Cruz. Now that O'Hearn's out, he normally plays there when Horwitz is at first base. I would bring Garcia up. I don't think there's any problem with that. I would much rather have his bat in the lineup and see what he could do defensively out there than taking a shot on Triolo out in right field. But again, today we're somewhat shorthanded. So whether or not that continues and they play a lot of Jake Mangum out there, that's fine, except I would rather have Garcia, at least for the next couple of weeks when O'Hearn is out. Give him a shot, see what you have. Jim in Millvale is up next. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for taking my call, Bob.
Sure.
Who's the odd man out at quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a question that is for this summer when you get to training camp. OTA's fine, minicamp fine, but you'll really start to see things get into place in training camp. Aaron Rodgers is not going to play games in the preseason. We know that. He'll get his share of reps in training camp at St. Vincent College. But who gets the next amount of reps? If you're going to have Aaron Rodgers on your team, logic says you should keep a veteran backup just in case he gets injured, if you really think you have a chance to do something this year. So that, to me, means Mason Rudolph should be on the team. However, you may go into this and keep an open mind and say, we're going to see in the preseason games that both Drew Aller and Will Howard get opportunities to play. And if one of them, and again, I know, Aaron, when you're talking about preseason games, you never know what you're going to get. We've learned that lesson time and time again. Some guys look better, some guys are not that good, and then emerge. Like Kenny Pickett, we thought of that one preseason. He was going to be a tremendous player in this league, and never worked out that way. So if one of those guys, though, proves that he can handle a backup role, and again, you may never know when you're going to use it, are you ready to put Will Howard or Drew Aller into a game when Aaron Rodgers gets injured, if he does get injured? Or would you rather have a Mason Rudolph? They're not going to keep 4. They're going to keep 3. So therein lies the problem. Joe in Star Junction. Hello, Joe. How are you? Thanks for calling.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good.
I was just wondering, I seen that poll up there. Howard and Drew.
It's a 50-50 bet right now.
Right, but why they should have like a three person up there, because you eliminated Mason Rudolph, so That means somebody knows something that he's going to be gone, or what?
No, it means that he's
Exactly.
probably going to be the backup. So you have two of these guys fighting for one position as of now. That's my point. If you look at it the way they're going to stack, if you have Aaron Rodgers on your team, he is the guy who's going to start. If he gets injured, you know, you have a veteran team trying to win now. Who's a better option? Is it Mason Rudolph or one of these guys who's never played before? So I think therein lies the situation. And it could change depending on how things go. Again, that's why all these preseason games and all the reps you see at training camp are going to matter for sure. We've got some X messages here on Twitter. Mark DiStefano says, the way I see it, they were intimidated by the Phillies. They need to knock somebody off the plate and make them feel uncomfortable. Pitch inside. Bruce Keeson might have been a good option. Well, I did see them, and specifically Skeens on Adolis Garcia today a couple of times. He hit him once and almost hit him a second time, but I get it. As a pitcher, you got to go inside. You got to establish your part of it. Whether or not it's intimidation or not, you just didn't make people know that I'm not afraid to go in there. And we get this. Pirates go on a losing streak, and this is from Character Matters. Pirates go on a losing streak after the last two bullpen games. Just a coincidence? I'm not a big fan of bullpen games for the reason you saw. Montgomery pitches the other day, and he had to come right back and pitch in that game one against the Phillies. And what does he do? First pitch gives a home run. Not that that's an excuse. I'm just saying I'd rather have a starter I can rely on. And then Jace Collins says the Pirates bullpen is no easy fix, in part because nearly all of their arms are unreliable. And therein lies the problem. Maybe they misevaluated the talent they have in that bullpen. And if you want to get your opinion heard, don't forget to tune in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call tonight at 10:35 on KDKA+. So give us a call at 412-575-2600. We do it every night after the 10 o'clock news. For CBS News Pittsburgh, I'm Bob Pompeani.